Today's my presentation is on adoptability of interreligious ethical demeanor for reconciliation and Buddhism's identity. Why I am selected this presentation? Whole world today is haunted by many conflicts, tensions, turmoils based on gender, ethnicity, race, religion, politics, ecology, and even the ideology. Therefore, due to the sense of destruction, uncertainty, frustration, misconduct, and above all, a grave risk of mass destruction of humanity is seen in every part of the world today. So therefore, the people or scholarly people who are following the religion, a religion like Buddhism, it is very important to identify certain pathways by focusing on the Buddha's teachings to address, at least to make aware on the humanism among the world fellows. With that intention, I just decided to conduct my presentation on this point. So what we have to identify here is what is the most significant barriers to reconciliation, that is conflicts. So we have to identify the different aspects of the conflicts by focusing on the world scenario. Some of them are based on behavioral or social conflicts, whereas some other conflicts are based on psychologically, interpersonal, intrapersonal, intragroup, and intergroup. Different types of conflicts can be seen throughout the world. Therefore, we can clearly understand what is going on in the world due to the different situations, different aspects of the world today. Therefore, that can be identified based on that. Basically, while focusing on Buddhism, we can clearly understand what would be the outcome of the conflicts. This is example for physical conflicts, physical, how people are fighting each other physically, and this represents the verbally how people are fighting to each other. So therefore, that is more powerful than physical conflicts as well, according to the nature as well as according to the outcome of the verbal conflicts and also psychological conflicts. So then what we have to identify is, in Buddhism, while focusing on conflicts, a number of terms can be seen throughout the Pali Tripitaka, Pali Canon, to denote conflicts such as kalaha, contention, viggaha, disputes, vivada, debate, and ghattana, conflicts. So these words are used in Pali Canon to denote the way how people are affected or engaged in conflicts as well. So then, one example is from Samyutta Nikaya. Once Buddha said that, Nahang bhikkhave lokena vivadami lokova maya vivadati. It means that he was not in dispute with the world, but the world was in dispute with him. With him means with the Buddha. That is what the Buddha's point of view on conflicts, debates and disputes, etc. Further talking about causes of conflicts, as we know, today even the scientifically research have been proved that the fundamental teaching of Buddhism based on the which is found in Dhammapada, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. It means that the mind becomes the forerunner to all. Mind becomes the forerunner to all. Therefore, the cause of conflicts is based on the mind. As an instance, there is one significant sutta which is called Magandhya Sutta. It mentions the causes for arising conflicts. That is called Sanyancha Dittincha Ye Aggahesum Te Gattayanta Vicharanti Loke. According to the sutta, there are two main reasons for arising conflicts against the reconciliation. One is called perception and the views. Sanyancha Dittincha, Sanya perceptions, Ditti views. Ye aggahesum te ghattayanta vicharanti loke. They are conflicting, they are fighting each other based on perceptions and views. Let me explain how it happens. You know, our perspectives are vary from each other. Are you agree with me? Yes. Let's see. How do you see from this picture? What do you see? There may be different perceptions and views while looking at that, right? What do you feel? What do you see?
Two living humans.
Sorry? On one hand, one can say a skeleton, right? That is a perception. And there are two ladies here, maybe the ladies, right? Someone, if we look at it carefully, then we can have another perception. But according to the way that we perceive, we can debate on that, right? How do you say like that? And something like that. Our perceptions and views are also the same. Look at this one. How many legs are there to this elephant? How many legs are there? While looking at the diverse perceptions can be seen, right? And look at this one. How many ships are there? Someone may perceive that this is a kind of bridge or wall, whereas some other can see these are the lines of ships. The perceptions and views, how they are vary from each other. And look at here. This is also same as, while looking at here, you can see a face of a man. And further looking at, there is a lady or man wearing a blanket going or following other side, right? So that is what I wanted to say is that the Buddha, what Buddha says is Sanyancha Dittincha Ye Aggahesum Te Ghattayanta Vicharanti Loke. By taking perceptions and views, people are trying to interpret one's own view. That is the nature. So then, further Buddha pointed out in Chulalongkorn and Maha Suttas, the lesser discourses and greater discourse on battle array. The Buddha says that dogmatic view is the most the main reason for the conflicts. Idameva saccang mogha manyang. It means that the idea viewed holds by oneself is correct, whereas the views and perceptions others hold in are incorrect. Let's see. Two persons are arguing each other. This one says 4 and this one says no 3. How many? While looking at both different viewpoints, right, they are looking at, because that is the nature of the humans, right? We try to hold our own view. So that is what Buddhism points out with regard to the causing of conflicts. Another example is from Kalaha Vivada Sutta. This is completely related to the conflicts and related the nature, quarrels and disputes. In this sutta, Buddha says that to a question, from where have there arisen quarrels, disputes, lamentations, sorrows, alone with selfishness, conceit and pride, alone with divisiveness? The main cause is the things dear in the world. It is given in Kalahavivada Sutta in very descriptive and the proper way, the mechanism due to the names and forms, Nama Rupa, right? Nama Rupa is the basis for the rise in conflicts that can be identified as the world, plot of land or country or a people, something, any kind of religious place or whatever, right? Then based on that we create contacts, passa. Then while contacting, they create a kind of, they give judgments on sukha, dukkha, adukkama sukha, likewise feelings of pleasant, pain or unpleasant, etc. Then what we are doing is we are creating a desire. When we see something, feel something pleasant, then we try to attach to them with the greediness, greed on lovely objects, and then based on that we make quarrels and disputes. So the Kalahavivada Sutta, this analysis clearly points out the process or the mechanism of creating conflicts against to the reconciliation, harmony and coexistence. So then what is the challenge we have? These are the objectives of the education in 21st century. You see, learning to know, learning to do, learning to be and learning to live together. We most probably we do the first three. We are learning to know, knowledge or whatever the things, and we are learning to do a profession or whatever as outcome of our education, and also learning to be. We are doing that three, but we need to think whether we are learning to live together. Since we are trying to separate from each other rather than uniting, there are so many issues due to the lack of focusing on the last objective of the education in the 21st century. So then what we have to do is reconciliation. As you see, this is a definition to the reconciliation. The action of causing people to become friendly again after an argument or disagreement and strengthening relationships among people. That is how to maintain the idea of reconciliation. So then in all the religions, interreligious ethical demeanor for reconciliation, all the religions, mainly the world religions today, universal religions in the world, they are talking about ethical codes. 4 ideals in Hinduism, 5 precepts in Buddhism, 10 commandments in Christianity, and 5 pillars in Islam. So they are talking about ethical demeanors, because fundamentally all the religions are talking about how to be good, how to do good. But what is the problem here is that due to some other fundamental issues and the misinterpretations, giving certain misinterpretations to the fundamental tenets of Buddhism, not only the Buddhism but also the other religions also, they are creating some other issues throughout the world. So what can be applied is, this is called the application of Four Noble Truths for the reconciliation. In very first sutta, we can identify four main words: Parinyayang, Pahatabbang, Satchikatabbang, Bhavetabbang, which is found in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. You know, Parinyaya means knowing, no understanding the problem. That is for the diagnosis. Then Pahatabbang, removing the cause. First identify and then remove the cause. Satchikatabbang, identifying the best solution out of the many alternatives. And then Bhavetabbang, applying. So then this application based on the Four Noble Truths, we can apply that into diverse ways, into different aspects, different scenarios. On the other hand, one of the main points that we have to apply is the four sublime abodes found in Buddhism, which is called Brahma Vihara. Brahma Vihara, in Abhidhamma it is called Appamanya, boundlessness, or the godly way of living. In Buddhism, it is clearly mentioned four universals, Brahma Vihara, known as loving kindness, compassion, altruism or sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So in Buddhism clearly points out that, so that maintaining harmony, coexistence, reconciliation, only these four pillars are enough if we practice that, put that into practice. Loving kindness means, in Buddhism it is called the how to practice love towards everyone. One should start from oneself. One who cannot love to oneself, never love to others. So therefore, that is why when we start practicing loving kindness, we start from oneself, and then we extend not for the world fellows, first for our nearest and dearest people, right? Then systematically we extend practice in loving kindness from oneself to the other, including all the beings who are in the hell. Until that we practice, we extend the loving kindness in a systematic way according to Buddhism. That is what the practicing of loving kindness to all. Then compassion. I am not going to explain these one by one because we all are aware on that. What I wanted to say is that based on that we can identify how to practice these four practices according to so that maintaining the reconciliation. Finally, in the conclusion of my presentation, I would like to focus your attention on, due to the unfair interpretations and misuse of religious tenets and their noble ideas and faith prejudice used for narrow purposes creates harmful impact entirely on well-being of mankind today. Due to above factors, on one hand, religion has been one of the major challenges for peace and reconciliation of the world for some extent. So then the ethical demeanors such as 4 ideals, 5 precepts, 10 commandments and 5 pillars can be included in the 4 universals: loving kindness, compassion, altruism and equanimity, which led conduce to reconciliation and in turn bring about world peace as mentioned in Buddhism. So what my conclusion is that whatever the fundamentals found in whatever the religion, they can be incorporated into these 4 concepts: loving kindness, and compassion, altruism and equanimity. So then there is no matter what religion we practice, what belief we are practice, right? That is why these four concepts can be identified as the universals. On the other hand, Brahma Vihara, Brahma is not a concept in Buddhism, it is a concept in Hinduism, but we use that concept to show the way, the godly way of living. It means a higher way of living, higher standards of living with good qualities. So therefore, that is finally, it is obvious that the religious quintessences of interreligious ethical demeanor can be adopted to bring about to reconciliation in its practical reality, and Buddhism provides a common standard to maintain coexistence through four sublime abodes. Thank you so very much.